Part 1 we have seen the soils, its importance in agroecology or ecosystem management, then the classification of soils, and we have seen almost 8 orders of soils. Out of the 12 orders are available in Kerala, in small state like Kerala, and we have divided these soils or the entire state of Kerala into 23 agroecological units based on the climate, topography, altitude, nearness to the sea, moisture status throughout the year, and so many other parameters. So in the second part, we are going to discuss about the major problems in managing the soils of Kerala. The most important bottleneck of Kerala soils is its soil acidity, the real villain. Because more than 91% of Kerala soil are acidic in nature. Of course, acidity means pH should be less than 6.5 for practical purposes. Definitely, theoretically it is 7 is neutral, less than 7 pH is acidic, more than 7 it is alkaline. But for soil management or fertility or health management, the pH between 6.5 to 7.5 is considered as neutral, and less than 3.5 it is ultra acidic, 3.5 to 4.5 extremely acidic, and 4.5 to 5 very strongly acidic, 5 to 5.5 strongly acidic, then moderately acidic, slightly acidic, and so on and so forth. So 91% or more than that are acidic in nature, of which more than 55% is having an acidity less than 5.5. That means strongly to ultra acidic. Ultra acidic soil you can see in the Kerry soils of Kutanad. If it is dried, the pH may go even less than 3.5. So naturally you may ask whether there is any neutral or alkaline soil in Kerala. Of course, the Palakkad plains where rainfall is less, bases are there. Especially in the Chittoor Taluk, the black cotton soils. They are slightly acidic to neutral to alkaline. That means pH may be 6.5 up to 7.5. Not more than that. And of course, some of the pockets of the rain shadow areas, for example, Marayur Hills, Attapadi Dry Hill, you may get a pH towards the neutral or slightly alkaline. Extremely alkalinity is not at all seen in Kerala. Again, in the coastal sand, where there is deposits of shells or calcium carbonate, so the pH will be slightly neutral to alkaline. Except these pockets, all other soils are acidic, out of which more than 50% of soils are strongly or very strongly or extremely or ultra acidic nature. So, before going to any application of manures or fertilizers, first thing is to correct the acidity. For that, you have to take lime. So, from the table itself, you can see it is a short form for correcting the active acidity. That means delta pH into 0.33. Delta pH means the pH of the soil and to which pH you have to raise the soil pH. That means suppose the soil pH is 4.5. If you want to make it into 6.5, so 6.5 minus 4.5, it is 2. 2 into 0.33, that much tons per hectare. This is an approximation. So, this level lime is to be given. Whenever you talk about recommendation of lime in package of practice or anywhere, it is based on calcium carbonate. But in the market, most commonly you are getting the burned lime, calcium oxide. If you add water to that and make it into a slurry, it is calcium hydroxide or slaked lime. Then of course, the calcium carbonate, the sources are, one is the shells, the another one is limestone, mined not from Kerala, other states like Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh, where there will be limestone deposits. Similarly, there is dolomitic limestone, which is a mixture of calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate. That's also good as a liming material. I'm not talking much about liming materials and their efficiencies now, because that itself will cover another topic. What is the issue actually when there is soil acidity? Soil acidity means the pH should be less than 6.5. Especially if it is below 5.5, definitely the problems will be severe. Like phosphorus will not be available. Whatever form P you are applying, in highly acidic soil, there will be excess of iron and aluminium. These ions, acid forming ions, will combine with the phosphorus to form insoluble phosphate, so phosphorus will not be available. High fixation. Can you imagine the P-fixing power of Kerala soils is almost 80% or more. That means if you give 100 kg phosphorus in a soil, 80% will be fixed, only the remaining will be available to plants. Then of course, acidic ions like iron, aluminum and manganese are high in the soil, so also the basic ions will be leached out. Calcium, magnesium and potassium deficiency is very common, especially magnesium deficiency is widespread in Kerala. Then toxicity due to aluminum, iron and manganese. Especially in paddy soils, you can get iron in ferrous form, which will come to the root, and with the presence of oxygen in the root zone, it may get converted into ferric, and which is not soluble, so it will be deposited. So in these soils, if you put water, the iron will get reduced into ferrous form, which is soluble, and when it comes to the roots or surface of the water, it will come as a scum in the water surface or deposited as iron oxide on the roots, and roots will be injured. Similarly, in upland soils, especially subsoil acidity with a high level of aluminium, say 10 ppm or more than that, that will be toxic and the roots will be affected, especially in the case of pepper. There are studies for that. Coming to the micronutrients, most deficient micronutrient under acidic condition is boron because of leaching losses. Because boron exists in acid condition as boric acid. Boric acid is highly soluble and it will be leached out along with rain. So, high fixation of P, so unavailability of phosphorus, deficiency of calcium, magnesium and potassium, toxicity of aluminum, iron and manganese, the severe deficiency of boron, molybdenum availability is high in alkaline soil. So, in acid soil you can anticipate molybdenum deficiency also. Regarding the soil microbiology, the beneficial microflora like nitrifying bacteria like nitrosobacter and nitromonas, which will convert ammonia into nitrite and nitrate, these bacteria prefer neutral to alkaline pH. So in acidic pH, it cannot do the biochemical function like nitrogen mineralization from amino acid or protein to nitrate form. So we have seen how biologically driven nitrification process is influenced by pH, and these organisms, nitrifiers, like near neutral to alkaline pH, so pH should be near neutral. Same is the situation with nitrogen fixers, especially rhizobium. We are recommending rhizobium inoculation in our soils. But remember that rhizobium also prefers a near neutral pH for their efficient activity and multiplication. So if pH is not corrected, say for example, extremely acidic pH with say less than 5 or 5.5, even though you are inoculating the soil or the legume crop with rhizobium, it is not going to multiply because the soil pH is adversely affecting the microbial population. So for them also, that means nitrogen fixers also a near neutral pH is a mandatory thing. So we can conclude both beneficial organism nitrifiers as well as nitrogen fixers, near neutral pH is essential for their optimum activity and multiplication. The reverse is the case with disease-causing organisms like fungi, especially under Kerala conditions, butterrot in coconut, mahali of arecanut, abnormal leaf fall in rubber. All these are due to Phytophthora, and Phytophthora prefers or likes a acidic pH. So if you put lime and change the pH into say 6, 6.5 or more than that, that itself will be a preventive measure against fungal diseases during the onset of monsoons. So plants prefer near neutral pH for absorption of almost all the nutrients from the soil. So our task is to convert the pH or increase the pH from acidic rain to at least 5.5. You cannot think of converting the 5.5 or 4.5 pH to immediately 6.5. It may require enormous quantities of lime. So with a single application, it may not be possible. So what you can do is, before starting cultivation, in the case of seasonal or annual crops like rice or banana or vegetables, there should be a regular application of liming material to raise the pH at least to the safer level of greater than 5.5. If you are not testing the soil, at least 600 kg per hectare of calcium carbonate should be applied just at the onset of monsoon, or if it is irrigated at any time you can give, because moisture should be assured before applying lime or any fertilizer or manure. So before starting any cultivation, basically you have to make liming habit. High amount of moisture during monsoon seasons and then very hot climate. This hastens the process of oxidation of organic matter and carbon stock will be reduced. Not only that, carbon dioxide will be evolved and sent to the atmosphere. Even if you add tons of organic matter, then what you can do? Without losing it, you have to manage. So, preferably, rather than giving raw organic matter, let us give processed like compost so that carbon dioxide evolution can be reduced to some extent, and that will add to the humus and carbon stock. Only if the organic matter added get converted into humus, it will add to the carbon stocks and go for the carbon trade market. So, not only by addition of organic matter it is complete, but you have to assure that this organic matter is retained in the soil. You cannot think of nitrogen status improvement without improving the organic carbon status because they are so related. Unlike other nutrient elements, almost 97% of the nitrogen in soil exists in organic form related to carbon because it is from carbonaceous material, organic matter. The next element is nitrogen. That is why CN ratio of a soil is characteristic. Usually it may be 10:1 or 12:1 in our soil, and whatever organic matter you added after 3 weeks or so, you can see the CN ratio will come back to the original one. So here is the importance of addition of processed organic matter like compost or vermicompost or such other things so that evolution can be reduced and carbon nitrogen ratio can be maintained or slightly improved. So these two, if you manage, that is pH and organic matter, you are solving almost 80-85% of the fertility problems in Kerala soils. Because organic matter can supply micronutrients, but if organic matter is derived from a soil which is deficient in some of the micronutrients like boron or zinc, that organic matter also will be deficient in that particular micronutrient. Suppose a soil is deficient in zinc, you are growing some green manure crops or you are taking the vegetable waste or something like that from this soil and making it into compost, that compost also will be low in zinc. So you have to enrich with that particular micronutrients artificially added in the chemical form during composting or processing. If a balanced organic manure as per the specifications of fertilizer control order, you can forget about micronutrient deficiency. Also, nitrogen status can be maintained if you apply chemical fertilizers, but before that you have to add organic matter. Now in the next part, that is the last part, part 3, we may go to the actual fertility management after managing the acidity and organic matter. Of course, organic matter management is part of both soil management as well as fertility management. The other nutrients being major or secondary or micronutrients, their management, fertility status, degree of deficiency, extent of deficiency, and how to correct these deficiencies, what are the management practices, what are the recommendations evolved, all these things we will discuss in part 3.